Are there some here who have been hurt too many times before? You've been in church, people have let you down, bad things have happened. There are many people who are clinging on to some sort of faith, but for whom church and Christian fellowship has sadly gone sour. If you're like that, stay with Thomas. Stay in that moment. Say to Jesus what he's going to have to do to make you realize this time it's real. And so Thomas says, unless I put my finger into the mark of the nails and thrust my hand into the hole where the spear went in, I'm not going to believe. Now, in the story, Jesus does eventually say, do you know what, Thomas, it would have been better if you'd believed without seeing. But here's the thing about Jesus. Just as Jesus meets Mary in her tears and she recognizes him through her tears, so Jesus doesn't say, no, Thomas, don't be silly. I'm not going to pay any attention to stupid doubts like that. He says, okay, Thomas, be my guest. Here's my hand. Here's my side. Don't be faithless, but believe. There are many in our world, and perhaps many here today, who have genuine questions, of course, because the gospel, being about new creation, is inherently, as it stands, unbelievable, because we live in a world of death and decay and war and violence and so on, and the message of new creation, oh, come on, don't give us that. We've been taken in too often before. But Jesus will meet our questions, our doubts. You may have doubts about the historicity of the Gospels. There are plenty of people working on that who will help you. You may have doubts about how all this stuff works, about heaven and earth and the future and the past and so on. Fine, we can cope with that. Bring your questions, express them. Some churches, if you ask questions, will tell you, don't ask questions like that, it shows you haven't got faith. No, questions are important. Jesus took Thomas's questions seriously. He'll take your questions seriously as well. Find somebody you can trust with whom you can talk, if that's where you are. But so Thomas is met by Jesus, I think with a smile. Okay, Thomas, let's do it. Here's my hand. Here's my side. And then Thomas's commission, Jesus doesn't tell him to do this, but I think this is Thomas's commission. Thomas's commission is to be the first one to take the flying leap into the great new doctrinal statement. We heard before that this year is the anniversary of the Nicene Creed, when the church got together and said, we are united by what we believe about God, and specifically what we believe about Jesus. And Thomas is the first person in John's Gospel to refer to Jesus as God. Thomas says, my Lord and my God. So Thomas, through his doubts, brings forth from Jesus a fresh answer, to which Thomas gives the fresh affirmation, my Lord and my, which ties together John's Gospel. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. My Lord and my God. John's Gospel is held together with that affirmation and invites us again and again to say the impossible, that a living,